I was to tell everybody there was a suspect driving around Pasco County or in Tampa Bay that was luring young girls, I can imagine everybody be panicked. That feeling of anxiety, fear of who would be the next victim. But I can tell you they're doing that right now on social media. And they're using the app Whisper. And so what happened over this past weekend, there was a victim, she's 12 years old, she's with her friends, they're 14 and 15, and they're going on this app Whisper. And the scary thing about Whisper is you can be anonymous. You can just post things on basically like a chalkboard, write whatever you want, post whatever you want, send messages up there, and nobody knows who's communicating, but then they can directly go to each other after you look at the board and see who wants to talk. So the suspect, Tyler Dempsey, he's 23 years old. He goes on there and he sees this posting by these young girls, and he says basically, do you want to party? They respond, the 12-year-old responds yes. He goes down, picks them up. He takes these three girls back to his sister's apartment, which is on sister's boyfriend's apartment, which is on Little Road. While they're there, he gives them drugs. They smoke weed while they're inside the house. He then says that a 12-year-old, using street slang, do you want to have sex? This 12-year-old girl didn't understand what that slang was. She goes into another part of the apartment, and the suspect, Tyler Dempsey, starts having intercourse with her. The victim is scared. She was afraid because she was in a strange apartment. She didn't know what was going on. After the act is done, they get back and he actually takes the three girls back to where he picked them up at, and she doesn't report anything until she goes to school on Monday and she speaks to a counselor. At that point, our investigators get involved. We start working through this case, and we identify Tyler Dempsey as a suspect. Through the hard work of our detectives, he admits to what he did. It was a 12-year-old girl. I mean, as you can imagine, for our detectives, this is a difficult case because you're doing people that are, victims that are little girls, and this is a 23-year-old man. And so he confessed everything. We did arrest him, but this is just a warning out there for parents again. As I said, I would go back to where I started with. If there's somebody driving around a neighborhood, everybody has, oh my gosh, it's scary that somebody could just be picking up these young girls, these underage girls, and try to lure them to have sex. It should be no different in our day and age with social media. And they make it much easier now because these kids are going on there, they're innocent. Even though we think technology is advancing everybody, we're still human beings, and we can only comprehend so much. Our conscience can only deal with so much. And we have to remember, these are only 12-year-old little girl who, probably just feeling of popularity or feeling, being wanted. And she goes on this app and, this is the scary part, but you have these deviant, sexual, immoral people out there, these suspects, and they take advantage of these young little kids. So we're warning parents, please, take those cell phones, be on them. As much as we have to be on our kids about everything else, be on them about the cell phones. The other one too is, which a lot of parents don't recognize, and these kids may not either, is that there's a location grid. Everybody thinks once you get rid of the location tab that nobody knows where you are, but that's actually not true. There's other ways they can track you, either through Gmail or other accounts. So we're also warning parents to make sure those are taken off too when people are communicating, because that's how these suspects, these individuals, can also identify these kids. So again, we want to make sure that this is a warning out there for parents. There's another app to be concerned about. We talked about Kick. We talked about the other apps that are out there that we're constantly warning parents about. There's a new one called Whisper, and the kids have probably been using it now for the past couple months. From what we understand, it's only going to get larger and bigger. So that's a warning. And it's also talk to your kids. Let kids be kids. A 12-year-old little girl. These children out there, they don't know what they're messing with. They're messing with fire. And so we're just sending that message out there. Spend 5 minutes with your kids tonight. Talk to them about social media, about the safeties, because, for this young little girl, this changed her life. But let me have a message to this little girl. You did a very brave thing coming forward. For any victim of sexual battery, it's not your fault. You were taken advantage of. And the best way you can redeem and get justice is to notify somebody. Notify your counselor, notify a teacher, notify a parent, a pastor, somebody, law enforcement. because what was done to you was wrong, and justice needs to be served. So.
Any thoughts if Tyler Dempsey had done this before? Any past arrests for him?
I'll let the detectives.
There's no other arrests with him. The only thing that we have with a criminal history is he had, looks like a marijuana charge last year. As far as he's done this before, we're still looking into and investigating that aspect. We have his cell phone, so we have to do more further investigation into his cell phone to figure that out.
What did he say when you arrested him or started talking to him?
At first he denied everything, but then confronting him with some of the evidence that I did obtain, he then started coming forward with, yes, I did go pick these girls up, yes, I did have sexual intercourse with her, and that kind of stuff.
Did he know her age?
Through the talking, through the whisper, and then text messages, they told him they were all 15 before picking them up.
And the sheriff mentioned that they posted something on this chalkboard, a message. Can you reveal what that message was?
That I don't know. Detective Smith here knows more about this Whisper app than I do. It's something that I literally just learned during this investigation. It's that new. But from what I understand, it's you just post like a picture with like words on it. You don't even have to post a picture of yourself or write an actual text message. You just post something, and then, like the sheriff said, it just shows up in a radius so then other people can start responding, and that's how they start talking to each other.
Where's Dempsey now being held?
As far as I still know, he should be at Land O'Lakes Jail.
His job, occupation, was he employed? Is he employed?
I don't believe I'm allowed to.
You can say what his former job was.
Okay, he was just got discharged from the United States Army, and he, according to him, he was a military police.
Was it a discharge for any reason?
That I am not aware of yet. I still got to go talk with the United States Army.
Was it honorable discharge or dishonorable?
I have no clue yet.
Do you know if he was based in this area as a military police officer?
According to him, he was stationed in Germany.
Germany.
Yes, sir.
How prevalent is this app?
Detective Aaron Smith, I work in our cyber investigations unit, and the reason I'm here, I didn't have any direct involvement in the case, but we've been trying to push out our message recently about internet safety, especially with children. Now, this app is relatively new, but what I try to tell parents is the apps change daily, and we can't even keep up necessarily with what's what out there. So any of these applications that allow chatting, that allow any sort of video streaming, especially live video streaming, you have to be very, very careful with. It's a very good place for predators to hide, to conceal their identity, and even though you may trust your children, they're getting lured in by skilled predators into child exploitation through child pornography, through sometimes physically meeting. Now, Whisper itself, the complicating factor this adds for the public is there is no profile like we expect with Facebook, with Kick Messenger, with most other apps. There's never a name, there's never a picture associated with your post. You can post whatever you want to put out there completely anonymously. It can be backed with pictures. You can include your own photos, so even though it may seem anonymous, if you post a photo of your residence or of your vehicle with that text, somebody may be able to figure out who you are. So there's never anything that's completely anonymous. Now, in this app, you can actually, what we call geolocate the people around you. You can look at posts, look at the content of a post, which is similar to a meme. You know, most of them are photographs with text. You can then see who posted within a 2-mile area of what you are, where you are. So you now pick that meme, you can send a chat request to that person. Again, they don't know who you are yet, you don't know who they are, but you can begin to converse. Once you do that, you can pass telephone numbers, other profile names, things like that. So that's generally how communication might start in an app like that. But as we tell parents with any app, just because you see a profile picture or a name, you have absolutely no way to identify who is on the other side of that. So even though this app appears to be maybe a little more dangerous because of the anonymity, any chat app is anonymous. There's no way that you can verify who these people are unless you know somebody. You might want them face to face and verified, yep, that's my Facebook profile, that's my Kick, to accept that request. You just don't know. So Our biggest thing we ask parents to keep an eye on are these live streaming video apps right now, because kids can broadcast themselves to everybody completely publicly, and you have no controls. Some of them allow you to limit groups of friends, but again, keep in mind that this person may be a friend of a friend. The people can record these videos. Even if you can't record it on a device and you think that it's private, you can simply pick up another cell phone and record the screen with that one while it's playing. There's no way anything that you put out there is actually anonymous or untraceable.
All right. We're good? Appreciate it. Thank you, everyone, very much.
I'll get you the arrest report.
Yeah.